Hello everybody and welcome to another StarCraft 2 cast by Imperator Zed. Today we have a bronze game on our hands and it's a Terran versus Terran. What crazy antics await? We shall see. First thing we have Viper with its crazy with its crazy SCV split. These Marines are mining. At last! Took long enough. SCVs are being built by both players. The excitement rises. Strangely enough, they seem to be about equal when it comes to resources and marine production, even though the marine split was kind of garbage. And you'll usually see that in bronze games, because these small, tiny little things really don't matter all that much. We have on the lower edge, as I told you before, Viper, and at the top, BirdieFR. Let's get into the thick of things. Well, at least as soon as that actually happens, because for now both players are building supply depots and being really boring. There is no such thing as an SCV rush on our hands in this game. Both players seem to be planning to wall off. I don't know if that is really necessary in a TvT, but well, players are probably scared of Hellions and the likes. That, or they just do the wall off every game like pretty much all bronze players I've ever played against. We still have pretty much equal builds. Actually, they are exactly equal. Everything seems to be completely the same. Viper is a bit behind in his SCV production, but that might be just product of his bad failed split. And already we have the first mistake. BirdieFR has not built an SCV for, let's say, 10-15 game seconds. Doesn't seem like a big mistake, does it? Well, I can tell you already who I think is going to win this. Usually these tiny mistakes, they stack up over the game, and pretty much the player who does the first mistake loses in the end, because he's gonna do more of them later on. And believe me, there are lots of mistakes you can make in a game of StarCraft 2. We have orbital commands coming up for both players at about 16 supply, and SCV production continues. Well, it does for BirdieFR at least, because there we are. Now, go my SCVs. The players are thinking, go my SCVs and gain minerals for your god. For I am god, the players are thinking. We have a second gas going up for Viper. Birdie was a bit early with that. If there was any strategy involved in this, I might say he might be going Banshees, or what else can you go in the TvT that needs a lot of gas? Hellions aren't really anything. Well, maybe just no, not Medivacs either. But either it's Banshees or lots of upgrades and ghosts, maybe? No, I'd say it's Banshees. We have a tech lab coming up for Birdie at the factory. It seems to be placed to swap it as soon as the starport is finished. Yes, we are going to have cloaked Banshees on our hands. On this end, Viper is actually doing quite well, as a matter of fact. His resources are low. He's not supply blocked. Well, there was a supply drop. Would probably have been better spent muling and instead not getting supply blocked. But small things. Viper is ahead in SCVs, as you can see. He's ahead in spending on pretty much everything except tech. This Banshee rush might be decisive, folks. Guess that wasn't a swap. This actually makes no sense, but there was no swap indeed. I guess Birdie is planning to go Marine Tank Banshee. There is a Banshee after all, at least I'm not completely stupid. And the mule died. I should play Terran more often so I can see mules die. We have a supply drop coming down. Again, I would not recommend this. It's a bad habit to get into, just to rely on supply drops, because, well, if these things die, you're in trouble. That and the mules are actually quite a lot better than supply drops, because supply drops, they give you 100 minerals straight away. They're basically a pure injection into your economy. But mules, they give you 270 minerals. And it does not take that long for a mule to be worth its weight in minerals. We have a drop coming up by Viper, our red player. And the drop is standing still. Does Birdie know about this? No, he does not. Does Viper know about it? He appears to have forgotten about the supply drop. Sorry, about the marine drop.
Add-on complete.
There's a scan going down again, wasting what could have been used for a mule, because what does he see? He sees a Wolof. Well, he could have seen that with a marine or scouting Hellion or this SCV, pretty much anything. Well, let's not dwell on it, folks. We have a siege tank, a lone siege tank making its way up the map. That seems very bold. The Medivac with nothing inside, sorry, the Medivac with lots of stuff inside is still doing nothing. Now the drop is coming, but Birdie, of course, is prepared, because at about a minute or two where the Medivac was just staying here, Viper was probably listening to Day 9, macroing back at his base, and not doing any silly stuff. Yet the silly stuff was up here, and it would have required maybe 2 button presses to devastate Birdie. But now, alas, alack, it's too late. We have no expansion coming up from either player, even though the minerals are sky high. It's not Facebook money yet, as LagTV would call it, but I'm gonna bet we're getting there at some point. Facebook money is 5... No, really? Well, these players are just birds of a feather, aren't they? Banshees are just flying around doing nothing. If a single Viking and a scan being wasted, the Vikings just don't really care about one Banshee, and they go do harass. We have 8 workers killed, 9. Oh Jesus, this is at 10 minutes. The Marines are just standing around. They don't care. They actually have stim, which is nice. Viper is keeping up on his upgrades. That's good. I guess it's better to just have the SCVs mining than stopping, because at least when they die, you know, whatever. We have 24 SCVs killed. That's nothing, is it? How many SCVs are left? 10 and a mule. But of course, this is a Bronze League game. Such things can be... well, there can be a comeback. In fact, there probably will be a comeback. Look at the resource tab. We have a second base coming up for Viper. We have more of the same coming up for BirdieFR. Players at 12 minutes are at 52 and 59 supply respectively. This is a bronze game indeed. Viper still with the better army. I guess the macro advantage in the beginning is still actually paying off, even though his macro has been devastated. And amazingly enough, even after that harass, and maybe a whole minute after the harass, the players seem to be in equal positions. Viper's expansion is a bit late compared to BirdieFR's, but since this one doesn't appear to be doing anything whatsoever. Don't you love these tabs? Snaps. Now we have the APM tab as well. Ooh, how do you do the APM tab? Ooh, that's music. Sorry. I don't know how to do the APM tab. I have to check. I have to cheat. Control V. Control V. Yeah. Viper's not actually ahead in average APM. I turned off the sound, didn't I? Yeah, there were explosions. I sort of missed them because there was no sound. Here the sound is back and we are just in time to hear the Marauder explode. We have some stuff here. Army size, because Birdie has run half his army into these siege tanks. Please never do that with half your army, because, well, a full army is always gonna win against half an army, even if there aren't any siege tanks. Yeah. Still no scan. We have the orbital command here. Still nothing mining at this base. It's turning into a planetary fortress of all things. BirdieFR is a scared pussy in this game. He should know he's way ahead. Look at it, it's actually paying up. Oh my god, he did nothing. He is still on 24 SCVs. He has missile turrets in his base, protecting him from... the medivac. That would probably actually drop pretty much here and not be bothered at all by these missile towers, missile turrets. And overall, Birdie is playing like crap. He could probably just take this massive army in relative terms and steamroll Viper right there and then, but as many Terrans in bronze are loath to do, he is not attacking. Or want to do. How is the Shakespearean term actually? Can somebody enlighten me? Probably nobody's watching this, but if somebody knows, he's something to do. You know, it's this archaic sort of term, if you know what I'm talking about. A want to do. I don't know. Let's forget it. I shouldn't rub it into people's faces that I'm an English student, because people who play StarCraft, they usually don't like liberal arts majors. And we've got people scanning each other. Look, I have Marines. Look, I have Marines. And in fact, I have more of them, so I shall run them into your siege line and give you free kills. These players are so nice to each other. We have Birdie actually mining from his second base. Viper is doing so as well now, using his mules, abusing the OP that is Terran. Both players are in 2 base. Birdie actually found it in him to make some more SCVs, while Viper again has stagnated a bit, though he's now catching up and it'll probably turn out even, which is silly considering the resources lost tab. Especially if you consider that all of those have been workers. Maybe not all of them. Definitely not all of them. Donated half army. I remember. Sorry guys, I forgot about that. We have Viper still clawing, trying to get back his army. At least to get his army equal to what Birdie's is. I think this might be a bit too many siege tanks for the amount of Marines here, because really, if the Marines die, the siege tanks are free pickings. Well, that's actually me thinking Zerg, because there appear to be no Banshees on Viper's end, so it's actually... it seems pretty much impossible to break at anything like the next 5 minutes or so. Still, Viper is being bold. He's putting his stuff here. Birdie is being chicken, like the birdie he is. And money is piling up. Dear God, there is a supply block, 1600 minerals. Wow. This guy is rich. He must be saving up on women, for women back on Earth. You can't save on women, that's just plain impossible. Sorry guys. And we have Viper's macro. Quite good. I am impressed. Well, it's probably because he hasn't made enough SCVs to begin with and wasted... Wow! Look at his energy on the orbital command. He could drop so many mules. Well, there you have it. That's probably why his macro seems to be so good, because he's not been doing enough harvesting of resources. By now he still seems to be behind in army. That's because he's been diligently building SCVs and getting back in the game, while Birdie has been sitting on his ass, running his unsieged tanks into the Marine army of Viper, turning the tides with absolutely incredible, stupid play. If you ever seen the like. I shouldn't talk, it's not all that easy to... How could I miss that? Seriously? Well, battle cruisers good against marines, but lots of marines good against few battle cruisers. There's another one being made. But by now, this game is over, guys. Sorry to say, there's no excitement left. Oh my god! What are those? Vikings. Still no excitement. Sorry, I tried to make this exciting, but can't believe this game is still going. Birdie should have GG by now. He has nothing in his... Well, he has this stack of saved up trust fund. And Viper runs his army into siege tank fire. Just paying back the courtesy that was done just about here. Maybe not as much, it's not his whole army, he's donating after all. By now, all he has to do is get a new base, or get a new base here. In fact, get every base on the map, and just wait. How many battle cruisers can you make on one mined out base, guys? Let me enlighten you, it's not all that many. Indeed, we see Viper taking my advice, moving out his command center, moving out his SCVs. Shouldn't he kill the rocks? He probably should be killing the rocks. Well, who needs to kill the rocks? We have all the time in the world. Birdie has law. What? He still has stuff? Oh. Appears the Viper has gotten complacent here. He's diligently upgrading. Actually doing quite a lot better than me in my Platinum League. I forgot all upgrades all the time. I would probably be doing my 1-1 by now. And we have scanning. Birdie wasting his mules. If you're this resource starved, you probably should have just lifted off the command center and floated it over here. Takes about as long as building a new one. And not 400 resources, which is pretty much everything for Birdie right now. And this, guys, this is incredible. Look at the army tab. Birdie is ahead. Well, that's because Viper took my advice. And he took it the wrong way. Because... see this? His resources, his minerals, they seem to be low. What you can do against that is mine more. Well, you can either build lots and lots of command centers, which will put you behind in minerals for quite a while, or you could use your freaking energy. How many Cloak Banshees do you think he can come up with, guys? Just, even if he dropped the mules here, he would be so much farther ahead on resources. And the gas? He does need gas units. I do know that this is a problem for Terrans, because Marines are so good, you just keep wanting to make them, but if you do that, take your guys off gas. This, in mineral terms, would be about 2,000 more minerals, or 2,200, I'm not exactly sure, but 1 gas equals, 4 gas equals 5 minerals. You can do the calculations. And, well, think of it. 2,000 minerals, that's 40 Marines. So Viper could pretty much have twice as many Marines by now. And Birdie appears to be getting steamrolled and steamrolled and steamrolled in economy. In pretty much everything. Why is he still here again? I asked that question before. I know, but why is he still here? Maybe he just likes looking at the battle cruiser. And it is damn pretty, isn't it? It's such a beautiful unit. I love the Blizzard design team. I love you guys. I love you so much. We have a scan coming down. Let me enlighten you. Don't scan this. You know this is here. What's he gonna have? Maybe Cloak Banshees? Well, you will have time to scan the Cloak Banshees later. You have 3 orbital commands. One of them will have enough energy to scan. Where's the energy gone? Did he scan? Did he just scan away? What? How much energy would that be? A lot of it, anyway. Viper, my suggestion to you is okay. Okay, here we are. This is just plain unnecessary. You do have money. You could just build the supply depots. Just instead of doing that, use the extra minerals from the mules you should have gotten to make more barracks. I know you are doing this now, but these are not enough barracks, not enough production buildings. This money is gonna climb so high, and that's not gonna do anything against it. Think of money as your enemy, especially in the late game terms. You want to get rid of it, and you want to get rid of it hard. You also want to get more of it, which is kind of paradoxical, but well, nobody ever said this game was easy to understand, was it? We have the 3-3 upgrades coming up. They could maybe have gone up a bit earlier, but that's not really something you should be thinking about at the bronze level. We have 4 Thors. I guess they're actually a good counter to all the mech up here. And Birdie decides he has had enough. He does not want to live any longer. Which I can see. This is such a hopeless situation. Depression is kind of the standard thing to go into. And now Viper runs his Marines into the siege tank fire in return, because these players are just so goddamn nice to each other. We have lots of units just sitting around, yes, we've heard that before, and doing nothing. Even if you don't get them to the front lines to just plain outright kill this, because this is not all that much. Look at the army tab. Just whatever Viper does now, he can just 1A into the enemy base. He doesn't need to deploy his siege tanks anymore. It's just plain unnecessary because he's so far ahead. And if you do nothing with your units, if you don't just decide to steamroll your opponent, just get rid of these. This is just a sore spot, but it hurts to look. And this planetary fortress was unnecessary as well. Could have been mules, yada yada. Well, with that many bases, I would definitely also lose my game sense and would fall apart just as much as Viper did, but being Platinum, I probably would do so a bit later, maybe 5 minutes later. But really, this game is done. I can actually see this, you know, the time, and torture will be over soon. Will Birdie even decide to attack? Yeah. One last suicide attempt, and this one was successful, everybody. This has been Imperator Z casting for you a bronze game. It's been fun. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed my admittedly not all that great you know, analysis. I'm still learning. I'm still learning as well. Right now, in fact, I'm thinking, what would I have done better? And I probably wouldn't have done all that much better, to be honest. For a bronze game, this was pretty good. Usually they end a lot sooner, and the Banshee Harass would have been GG, so props to Viper for that one. See you next time, guys. Have fun, and GG!